Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome. We're doing an impromptu chat on Facebook and also on YouTube. So, welcome, my YouTube followers. My name is Elias Patras. I am an empowerment coach, psychic medium, motivational speaker, author, retreat, and workshop facilitator. And I am just thrilled once again to have Jean Lynn on, and she does so many things. Jean, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself as I did. So go
Okay.
ahead.
I don't have quite the lengthy spiel you do yet, but I am an empowerment coach and a hypnotherapist. And today, Elias and I were talking, actually maybe yesterday or the day before, about transformation in this time that we're going through right now. So we thought it would be really fun to get online and just have a talk with each other and then with you all and see how you are feeling and where you're at.
Yeah, there's so much going on in the world. There's transformation going on, there's the seasons changing, we're changing. I mean, I don't know about you, Jean, but I think for me, it's like, okay, the holidays are coming up. What do
Mm-hmm.
we do with the holidays? It's going to be completely different than it normally is. I know for myself, I'm thinking about doing something called Zoom for the holidays. So I also thought of anybody that is local, if we all did like a potluck and like made like if there were 12 people wanting to be part of the potluck, everybody takes a certain thing, leaves it by their garage door in little like container things. Everybody drives around and goes picks it up, and then we all nuke it or do whatever we do with it, and then get on Zoom and have dinner and say, "Oh my God, your sweet potatoes are delicious." Whatever it is, everybody makes their own turkey, but everybody goes for sides and desserts. Works for me, and then do like a Zoom thing. So I thought it would be really awesome. Now we've got some people on, so let's say hello. Um, we've got Robin. Good afternoon, Robin. Sarah May, all the way from the UK. Good to see you as well. Priscilla as well. Mikey from Chicago. Happy Coming Out Day for those who are LGBTQ plus. Yes, happy Coming Out Day. Jen, hello, Jen. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Jen.
And
Hi, Nick.
Nicholas. And Tammy, I'm feeling overwhelmed and sad. Tammy, let's talk about it if you're open to talking about it. Dina from Virginia, nice to see you, Dina from Virginia. Beth, hello, Beth. Karen, good to see you. I'm going to do this again. I'm so sorry. Maria, please tell me that is correct. And Chris, good to see you as well. So, what do we do, Gene? Like, when your clients come to you and they're like, "This is my issue." I see. This is my issue. What do I do? Why would we need? I'd love to hear your piece of why would we need an empowerment coach? What would that help with this type of transforming and shifting and change in our world?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a very broad question because for me, what I work with is getting to the root issue of why you're feeling a certain way or going through a certain thing. So it's really to guide through the process, to connect within yourself, to process through so we can figure out what the root cause is, heal, connect. I can hear echoing. Is that you? I don't know. Can you hear this echo? Heal, connect, and really get people to work through it themselves, but with the guidance from me, being that empowerment coach. And by using the hypnotherapy, it's to bring people to a level that they are able to process through it, fully aware, fully awake, but just to more of like a meditative state where you're connecting with your unconscious mind, which is within your heart center, basically, and allow you to process through whatever it is that is holding you back, whether it be, something with a job or something, fear, some sort of, whatever that might be. And really, sometimes people feel like they know what the issue is. Like, I feel this way because of, and that may be true. but it may be deeper than that. And really getting to that root and focusing on that and healing that is really what can bring you past that barrier. So really it's about getting past the barriers that are holding you back. Or if you've ever had a time where you might get to a certain point, like maybe in your career or your relationship, and you never seem to get to that next place that you need to be, something happens, or then you're back to 2 steps back. So things like that.
Tammy says, sure, I'm an open book. Tammy, we'll get to you in 1 second. Priscilla says Jean has an echo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to take this out. Maybe.
Okay. Let us know, guys, if that helps. And you have a website, and your website is, just so people know.
So I was trying to take my echo off. Is it better now? Hopefully.
I don't know. I
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, good. My website is Jean Lynn. So J-E-A, as it is on the screen here, JeanLynn.com or JeanLynnCoaching.com. Either way, you can get there.
Awesome. Now, let's go to
I know we're going to talk about Tammy, but one of the things that really came up for me before this call, and I just want to mention it, is yes, we were talking about the leaves transitioning and the seasons changing and the things that we normally would be anticipating, holidays, what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like, how different that might seem like it will be. But also, I'm noticing a lot of people are reevaluating their relationships during this time. So it's also a transition of, relationships and taking a good look at yourself and your partners, and a lot of shifting happening in there as well, even outside of what we normally see.
And it's relationships in general. It's all relationship, business relationships, personal relationships, love relationships. I mean, I'm finding that with my clients as well. There is a re-evaluation and a transformation, because I think, let's face it, guys, everybody has been stuck inside for a long time with your significant other, and that can either bring you closer or it can pull you apart. And I think part of coaching for me is also the communication piece. It's so important to have good communication and not do this finger here. You could also not do the middle finger as well, but not do this finger here, and to focus on ownership of self. How do we feel to express the way that we feel without putting blame and saying, this is what happens when I'm put in this situation? And think about what's happening with fall. Yes, leaves, like Jean said, leaves are changing color. We're about to go within. We're about to get ready for winter, and winter is also always a time of introspection. So let's go back to Tammy. And Tammy said that she's an open book. Her husband's been looking for a job for almost 2 years. She works in the performance field and the performing arts. And as we all know, theaters are struggling, and she is trying to reinvent herself as an agent. And just from talking to you, Tammy, I would say that, there are many things that you could do. I've had to reinvent myself. My big thing was going to workshops, doing workshops, traveling, and now everything has to be online. So, what would you want Tammy to do to bring it into the home instead on the stage? And that's my question would be for you. Jean, what would you say?
I don't know, Tammy, obviously you do. But I do love about bringing it in the home and even doing performances possibly. I don't know what kind of theater you're in, but if there's any sort of classes or theater little workshops you can do online, that would be really fun and fulfilling for you to also share that gift with other people. And I'm sure Elias can help you, with some of that, possibly how, some ideas on how to set that up.
She's an agent for performers.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Well, maybe
it's
suggesting that, to other performers, or, however that agency works. One thing that I do want to share is I'm noticing, even within myself, I have to remember this, is that sometimes we can, and me included, create something and say, well, it's either this or this, right? Either do this or I'm gonna, fail, or, whatever the two options are. And really just opening up to the possibility that it doesn't have to be this or that. It could be something even better. And the only reason we don't have that something better out there naturally is because we haven't experienced it yet. So
right.
really keeping that openness, that something better that you couldn't even imagine, or it'll transpire how you couldn't even have predicted, is possible. And keeping that openness and that positive, frame, instead of this or that, this, that, or something even better.
Right. And I always tell clients, to always, when things start coming in, say, what else is possible? How can it get better than this?
Mhm.
And see what manifests for you. Because if you're focusing, I was just talking to someone earlier, if you focus on the what ifs, what if I fail? What if I do this? Well, I'm going to flip it and say, what if you succeed?
Mhm.
What if this goes really far? I mean, Tammy just said that she's confident that she could do virtual events. She's more worried about her husband right now. So to reinvent that part of you is great, Tammy. Now for your husband, we need to know what kind of work was he doing, and what does he want to do? Because I have to tell you, guys, some of the people during this pandemic, I had two clients that were like, I'm so glad I don't have to do my job anymore. I really didn't like it. I want to do something else. Okay, here's the opportunity to do that. What does that look like for you? What are you passionate about? So I would ask, what does your husband do? What is he passionate about? And how can you make that into, is there a hobby that he really liked that he wanted to do? Because I would love to live my life where there isn't any of those I wish and shoulda and coulda and would have done. Because if I do something, and not try and do something, but attempt to do something, it's important to at least attempt it and say, okay, I tried it, check, didn't work. I attempted it, it didn't work. Now I'm going to move on to the next thing. And it's constantly, I think, I hate to bring Cher or Madonna in this, but look at how those two performers have reinvented themselves throughout the years.
So one of the questions I actually, asked someone a while back is, and it's a great conversation piece for this, not like, well, what do you want to do? We kind of release that pressure. It's like, if you could do anything, money wasn't an issue, failure wasn't an option, like, what would that be? And that's really a way to talk about that one thing, or those things that he really would be passionate about or enjoy doing. Like, what would you do for free? Like, if money wasn't something you had to focus on, and if you can do it for free and then transform that into actually making money doing what you love, I mean, that's, to me, the ideal place to be.
Because work should be fun. It really should. You should enjoy, not like, oh God, I gotta go to work again today.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I love doing this. I love doing the psychic medium stuff. I mean, I love combining the two. So to me, this is people have said, aren't you tired? Like, no, I'm energized. I
Mhm.
truly am energized. So Tammy says he loves to cook and make people laugh. So
Yeah.
what happens if he got on Alive and started cooking? Told his story, got people involved. It's a start. You never know unless you move forward. If we're stuck, and that's our jobs, if we're stuck, let's help you move through the obstacles. Let's help you break through what that is. I mean, it's what Jean does, it's what I do. And I love the piece, Jean, that you can add in the hypnosis in there, and also you add in
Oh,
because I
wait,
have
wait.
to stop and think. You add in the neuro-linguistic programming, which
Yeah.
is important. Yeah, I in my head I go to LPN. I'm like, no, she's not an LPN.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
neurolinguistic programming, what that is in a high level summary nutshell, is that we have within us programs, whether they were experiences that we've had that kind of stuck with us, but most of the time, programs are things that are beliefs that are not our own. So if it's a belief that your parents had, but you don't really feel like it's yours, but it's holding you back
Mhm.
from getting to where you want to be. I guess a very, very, very high level would be, let's say you were raised in a family where used cars was the way to go. But now you're in a place in your life where you really want that new car, but there's something there holding you back from it because there's that voice or that program that tells you, no, that's not a good idea because used cars are better. But that's not really your belief. That's someone else's belief that you've taken on. So that's just a very high level, but that comes in many forms. I mean, it could be, as a child, your parent was like overprotective, so now you don't trust people. I mean, it could be big, it could be small, it could be something that can happen in one session, it could be something that happens in many. So it really, really depends on what it is. But the neuro can happen in one session. The
Sorry.
neurolinguistic programming is our programs, and how I work with that is through my tone of voice, the things that I'm saying. And what it does is it helps you feel differently about that thing, whatever that thing is. And
Mhm.
oftentimes that's the one thing that can help you get past that hump or that barrier that you're facing.
Right, right. I would agree. Um, I'm sorry for the echo. I put on the YouTube because I'm like, are people watching the YouTube? And they are watching YouTube, and there's posts on YouTube, so I don't want to miss somebody's question if we're missing it. So I'm doing this kind of thing. Okay. Uh, and I would agree with you. It's challenging when we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And I think our challenge for us is how do we get to the hope without feeling squashed in our beliefs, or like, well, I did this and I did this and I did this and I can't do that. And I think it's the self-talk that we
Mhm.
tell ourselves that keeps us limited. And
Right.
if we can express, and I do a class on manifesting your desires, and the big piece, and you'll ask any of the spiritual gurus and motivators, what makes you manifest? And manifestation comes from feeling it. You have to feel it. And if you don't feel it, it's not going to happen. Um, Tammy says this. Thank you both for your insight. I try so hard to find the silver lining in every day, but sometimes I struggle like everyone else during this crazy time. And Tammy, I'm going to speak for Jean, but Jean, myself, we're there too. We're
Mhm.
there too. It's constantly, in my mind, and I'm just going to be honest on this. It's I'm always doing these lives. Oh my God, are people are people tired of these lives? But I get the feedback that they're not, and if they are, they're not going to watch. So there's still people coming on the live, so people are interested, and it's working together. It's you guys ask questions, we might have the answers, we might not, or somebody on here watching would have a suggestion that just sparks your interest. Like Sarah said, she had a friend who would cook for dinner parties, Now, Sharon says, does it help with PTSD? And Sharon, are you talking about um, neurolinguistic programming or hypnosis or both? So let us know. Hello, Diane Santucci. Good to see you. Jean, are you
So,
running any specials for first-time clients?
well, I am actually in the month of October. I do have a special price out there. I actually don't remember what it is, so
It's
maybe I have
okay.
to go find out.
Go find out. And you do that by going to your website.
Yes, yes. So there was something that came up on one of the.
And
Oh,
this is the website.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was going to talk about also determining individually for each person, everything's different. So you and I both, use our intuitive sense, right? I mean, we do have these strategies and these skill sets and learnings that we bring, but it's also connecting with that person on their level. And one of the things that I think is very important, even for myself, and with when I work with people also, is identifying strategies that work for them in their lives. So if you're feeling, for example, Elias, I'm feeling like I'm just contracting and I just want to sit in my house and everything's hard and heavy and
Right.
I'm having a pity party, right? Like, how do I get out of that? If that's something that happens to me, what's the strategy I can use to help get out of that place so that I can expand myself and expand my energy and expand my light, because that's what gets you to where you want to be. Contracting is the reverse of that. So really identifying with that person and the strategies that can help get them through when they're feeling like they're going backward or not able to reach where they're trying to go because of their mood or how they're feeling. And it could be a certain thing they say every day. It could be a technique they do, but really it's, so earlier you asked me in the beginning about like a very general question, but it really is specific to each person. And that's what I love about this work, is that it's so personal and allows the connection to happen on a human level. And I really enjoy that.
Sharon wanted to know, I wanted to get to
Yeah.
Sharon's before I forgot. She said both, hypnosis mainly for PTSD.
It can. It's not my specialty, but it can. But also, it depends on what the PTSD is from. So, to determine whether or not I personally would be the right person for you, or depending on what it is, I could absolutely refer you to somebody else. I would never want to, just say, no, I can't help you. But really, it depends on what the PTSD is.
Okay.
And
Good.
if I can help with that. And you don't have to stay on here. Feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to connect with you.
Tammy says yes to hashtag no more pity parties. Okay, that's
And
good.
I do it too. I have days where I'm just like, Elias will tell you, a couple weeks ago on a Monday, we chatted and he's like, oh, are you going to do this? And I'm like, nope. I was in this place, this funk, and I knew I needed to get out of it. And to your point, Elias, we go through it too. We have those moments. And even though I know the strategies and I know what to do, it's still tough, sometimes. So just knowing that, we're human,
Right.
we go through it too. But also by us going through it in our own ways, it allows us even to identify more, when other people are going through things,
Right. Because sometimes
speaking
we
from
go, why
experience.
did this happen? Why did this happen? Also, you could relate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even the empowerment coach needs a coach or a
Mm-hmm.
mentor. And it's, I will go to my person and go, this is what I'm feeling. Well, did you try this? Well, it's exactly what I tell it's exactly what I tell clients. So,
Yeah.
we do get stuck. So Sharon wanted to know PTSD regarding her husband's suicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can talk to you about
Okay,
that.
that's good. That's good. So, do you guys have questions? Anything that we could help you with? Any situation or a comment that you'd like to know about? Like, what does, it's just something, it obviously we're not going to do a whole session here with
Yeah.
you guys, but just to give you some aha pointers, or just kind of steer you in a right direction. And maybe it's something that you haven't thought of. Um,
I'm going to share
Jenny,
something really quick
sure.
beforehand that's popping up for me.
Okay.
That's been happening a lot, and I just want to share where I'm noticing a lot of people are keeping their tension a lot and clenching, their jaws. And when that happens, just, noticing that if your jaw's clenching, that means the rest of you is basically like holding your breath. And, we can't live if we're holding our breath. So just wanted to
No, and
kind of point that out, as you're shopping or as you're going through life right now, if you're noticing you're holding your breath or clenching, to, go, oh, I'm doing that, and just releasing that. And one of the most powerful things for me is when I'm feeling anxious or stressed, doing honestly like 3 really big breaths, like I'm blowing out the biggest candle ever, like a, like just getting it all out. So I just wanted to share that for some reason. I don't know if
nope,
somebody
that's
needs to hear
important.
that, but it just needed to come out. So there you go.
That's important. Jenny says it's tiring working so hard to build your business, but more satisfying than being tired working for someone else. So true, Jenny. So, so true. Um, okay. So I just wanted to say good morning. Well, good morning, Susan. Thank you. And Jessica Moss says guilty. Guilty
From
of hold it clenching.
maybe,
Hold
oh,
it
because of the
clenching.
teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you see a job in my husband's future anytime soon? I've been holding my breath for whatever seems like forever. So, isn't that interesting that Jean just said that? And there you go, holding your breath for whatever. Here's, this is obviously not this isn't the intuitive read portion of the program, but I'm gonna say this. If he's not feeling defeated and feeling hopeful, the job will come to him. He has to feel hopeful. I talked to a client the other day and she said, "Well, I keep on doing this." And I asked her, and it wasn't an intuitive read, it was an empowerment coaching session. And she said, "Well, how do I get to the next step?" And I said, "Well, what are you telling yourself?" "Well, that this isn't going to happen. And I've applied to 22 jobs and yada, yada. And I just, it's just not happening for me." I said, "Look at the thought and look at the energy behind that thought and saying, this is going to happen. I see it, I feel it." And one of my good friends said this, own it till you own it. And it's true. You have to move into that vibration, your vibe, and the vibe, your husband's vibe, I should say, and his vibe, and the frequency of getting a job, that has to align. If he's like, "Yeah, not going to happen," we're missing it, right? So, and I don't want to be all airy fairy on here and say just think good thoughts, but really put that have that positive attitude like Jean was talking about, to have that come through and just see it, own it, and feel it. um, Priscilla said I probably needed to hear that. And she's shared this, um, and she was changing her mind frame, and she got a job. It took her a while, but she got a job. um,
Can I
Here's one
add
from
to that?
Priscilla. Did you
Yeah, I
see
want to
this?
add to the,
Yeah, sure,
um,
please.
yeah. So to the, is it Tammy, the person that was asking about the job?
Tammy, yes.
Tammy. Um, Along with what Elias was saying, I was going to say something similar. Imagine that. But that when he was talking about the alignment, right? And if it's, oh, I'm not getting this, and focusing on the negative, you bring more negative, right? That's just how it works. You put out more positive, you bring more positive. And I know that that's a general statement, but what I was also going to talk about is, when might be focusing on the negative. Okay, what do I have? What do I have to offer? And feeling more empowered of who he is and what he has and what uniquely, what he brings uniquely, what makes him unique to any job that he's going to get, whatever he wants to do. But also, once he's actually in that state where hopeful, like you were saying, and more accepting of the things that are able to come to him, right? So these things are coming to him. But if he's moving toward those things, whatever those things are, even if he doesn't know, but he's open to it, at least when he's moving forward and it's moving toward him, it's going to get there faster, right? So if you're in a car and you're just waiting for it to happen, it's going to take a lot longer than if you meet it halfway or even go to it. So that's kind of more of an analogy I wanted to mention when you were talking about misalignment.
Right.
It's also about getting there faster when you put in that effort.
And you're co-creating with the universe. You are co-creating what you want. And we have to remember that it happens for our highest good. We might be getting all these jobs and you're like, oh my God, why didn't I get that one? Why didn't I get this one? Why didn't I get this one? You know, it can be crazy. I've applied for stuff in the past and I'm like, why didn't I get that? And then something else happens. I'm like, oh, that's why. Because I would have been stuck there.
Yeah, and being open and acknowledging that you're not going to always get what you're going for. And it may be that you're going for, or he, I say you, but you in general, he may be going for things that that's the whole like this or nothing type of thing, but just being open to other possibilities that might present themselves to him. And he might go, oh, I'm not qualified for that. Or, oh, I'm not going to apply for that because, just do it. If it pops up and it's there for a reason. Right. So he may come across something that he didn't think would be something that would be for him. And it is. So that's the this, that, or something even better. Right. So focusing, on moving forward, but also being open to things coming his way that he may not normally go toward.
Excellent. Priscilla said, is there any feedback Jean has for panic attacks?
Yes. So what I could do is on another live or a video or something is really talk about how to work with that for that specific person, because panic attacks are created by something that's happening, right? A stress, a fear, something that's happening within that panic attack. So it'd be unique to one person. But one of the things that I really work with people on is connecting within themselves and bringing that awareness to their heart center. And it really, and also, some relaxing techniques can really help help that person process through that panic attack. So it really is about that person, unique to them.
Okay.
But I would say one thing you could do, generally speaking, is if you take your hands like this, I think you can see my chest, and you put your hands on your chest like this, because oftentimes when we have panic attacks, it's in our head, right? It's a fear, something that's going on in our head. And when that happens, our heads don't solve anything, you'll notice. It's just like a hamster wheel, just keeps spinning. Well, what if this? What if that? I don't know. There's no solving, right? So if we go like this and we bring, even if you have to put your head down and breathe and feel your chest go up and down. And then if you bring your awareness to the palms of your hands and then behind the palms of your hands. And as you relax and continue to breathe, you'll feel that connection within that heart space. And when you're there is when that relaxation and that connection and that knowing of what to do or what not to do will come. And that's something that I can work on, individually, but just if you try that, and I know I'm not really doing it right now, but putting your hands here, just breathing and feeling that connection happen behind your hands. So that would be
Excellent.
one thing you could do.
Sarah has a question for you. Jean, can you help with phobias and fears through your work?
Yes.
Excellent. Tammy says, thank you both so much. Let go and let God is the hardest thing. Trust me. Yes. Yes. As a former control freak, yes, I clearly know that.
Because when it doesn't work out for you in the way that you think it should,
Of
it means
course.
that it's actually working out the way that it should.
Should, right.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah says, I was thinking that overcoming obstacles like phobias, etc., could possibly assist empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it can, because we are blocking the fluidity of the flow of this positive energy, because that fear, we can see that fear, we can feel that fear. It's tangible, it's controlled, and I'm saying that word controlled loosely. We can control that fear because it then takes over. We don't know what the outcome is. That's scarier. Like, I can't control this other piece. I don't know what's going to happen around the corner. And that's when the trust and the faith says, Chris says, I applied for a position that was to be for an RN, but went for it. Not being one, ended up getting the position. So it is possible. You want it, go for it. And again, guys, I tell you this all the time. You know, my parents being 46 and 56, wanting to adopt a child. And so many people told them no. And here I am. So, don't take no for an answer. If a door closes, a window will open. All these catchy phrases that are like, when you're a kid and you're like rolled your eyes or whatever. It's all true. It is all true. Trust me. Priscilla says, thank you. I will try that.
And
Tammy
Priscilla,
says,
reach out to me. I have something I can share with you that's coming for me, for you.
Excellent. And Tammy says, amen, sister. Does anybody have a question? Because we didn't want to be on here too long. We know it's a beautiful Sunday here in Midwest. So in the Midwest, in the Illinois area. Does anybody have a particular question?
While everyone's thinking, there was something you said earlier that I wanted to touch on, which is, if sometimes I'll feel like personally, where it's like, oh, I already, dealt with this. I already moved past this. And just knowing that even if you feel like it's something you've solved before or moved past before, sometimes what can happen is it's just like another layer, like an onion, right? It's peeling, you're healing and connecting yourself. So there's another layer of that needs to be processed through. So sometimes we might get frustrated. We're like, oh, I already did that. I already, learned that lesson, right? But then that lesson's coming up again. So that lesson either is, not learned yet, and we need to, work on that so that can be healed. So those lessons don't have to keep coming back in your life. Or it could be another layer, a deeper layer that's coming up to be worked on.
Right. And I'm going to tell you guys, like both of our stuff. Go to our Facebook page, like it, follow me, the email, get on my email list. Jean, you're going to start to do like little things on Facebook, right?
Yeah. And I just set up a YouTube page, so I'll start doing that as well. So it's Jean Lynn Franco on my YouTube. So more to come on that.
Yes. And, we both do motivational sayings. We both have thoughts. We both have aha ideas for the week or whatever, memes or whatever. So take a look, guys. They are very insightful and thought-provoking is what I was looking for. And Karen says, yes, many levels of healing. So true. So true. Any last minute words of advice, Jean?
I was just going to share something that happened yesterday, actually. Okay. I don't see that she's on here, so I wish she was. A friend of mine and we met for lunch, and, of course, sat across from each other and all that good stuff. But we were talking about something, and I, was kind of just sharing some insight. And she started to tear up and she was like, that is exactly what I needed. She's like, I've been feeling this like depression and this feeling for like intense this last week. And then even prior to that. So we talked, a little bit about that. And, one of the things that I touched on, she's like, my husband's been telling me that. She's like, and if I go home and tell him that I talked to you, and he's been telling me the same thing, so I was just going to say sometimes it's the message, but it's also how it's delivered in a way that you need to hear it, even if somebody's been saying the same thing. Because I know even in the past, like I've had a friend, who would say, we'd have deep conversations, and then she'd say, I met this lady, in the grocery store, and she said this, and I'm like, really? Like, we just had that conversation. So sometimes it's just about, who's saying it, how it's being delivered and received. So I found that interesting.
Excellent. Guys, I want to thank you all for being on here today. We just wanted to do a little impromptu. Again, you can go to Jean's website, and the website, I'm going to put it on the screen in a moment. I have to scroll back up to find it. But Jean, you could tell them what it is anyway.
Sure.
There it
It's
is.
JeanLynnCoaching.com.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then check
I
out your
did have
Facebook.
I did
Yes.
have a transition question for anyone who's still on there, that I was thinking about earlier. Is as we transition through this year, through this time, through these seasons, we change our clothes that we wear. It's almost like we shed, certain things of ourselves. What's one thing that you might share that is kind of a transition or change that you're feeling like you want to make or need to make, but you feel like something's blocking you from getting there? Or maybe you get there, but then you can't quite get to that place. Is there anyone that can share anything that they're going through right now where they feel like this transition is happening, but there might be some fear in it, there might be some struggle within? Just to hear some of that, since we were talking about transitions.
I know there's a delay, so we'll wait a minute or two. Why isn't this doing? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me check. Let me check on the. You guys are gonna hear me click click on the computer. So sorry. I'm wondering if this is going through on. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to here. Okay. Tammy says, "Have a blessed day. The leaves are lovely when they change. We should all take it. We should all take advice." Yes. Um, Thank you both for today. Appreciate you both. Thank you, Kieran, for sharing, and especially sharing to Sharon about that book. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And okay, if nobody has
Okay.
anything to pop up there, you could always talk to us individually.
Yeah.
And how do they find you on Facebook, Jean?
My Facebook name is Jean Lynn right now.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to hear me type again, guys. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, let's get a click on there. www.facebook.com/Jean Lynn forward slash. And if I can do that, there we go. There's Jean's. And obviously mine is www.facebook.com Elias Patras /. So there you have it. Oh, and it's on there twice. Oh, because it's on YouTube as well. And you do have something here. Hang on one second. We just type this in again. Okay, there we go. So I am transitioning, yes, hence more panic from being home since March to new job on Wednesday. Tammy says you can do it. Congratulations. Awesome. Tammy, let's talk this week as well, my friend. Let's chat, okay? And Jean, thanks for popping on here. I appreciate it. And guys, check us out. Jean and I don't know, we might even have a workshop coming up later on next month. So stay tuned.
Yep.
And have a beautiful day, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you. See you soon.